Hello. This is a test message for anyone that's listening, and about the monarchy. So, in the UK, for instance, last month was the coronation of Charles III. Um, so he's taken over. It's a phrasal verb for you to take over from his mother, Queen Elizabeth, who was the longest serving monarch in history of the world. Um, and she was monarch for, she reigned for, I think, 73 or 74 years. Charles is 74. She wasn't pregnant when she started her reign, so around 74 years. Um, so the monarchy is to do with, um, in this day and age, it's a constitutional monarchy. So that's different from previously, which was an absolute monarchy. And in an absolute monarchy, the form of government is just one person rules the country. Um, so there's no political parties, no opposition, just the king or queen, normally the king. Um, but I suppose that method uh, doesn't really exist now in Europe. It's all constitutional, which is what we have in the UK. Um, a symbol of the monarch's power and authority is the crown. So the coronation is literally putting the crown on the king's head. And that's what happened a few weeks ago now. Now, the coronation is a ceremony where the king will sit on a ceremonial chair, which is called a throne. Um, and the crown is then placed on the king or queen's head, and they are officially um, the monarch, constitutional monarch at the moment. And this constitutional monarch is from the royal family. So basically, it's from a bloodline. So bloodline in the sense that the person that uh, succeeds, in this case, the queen, was her son. So succeed is succession. So there's a term that you can use is to keep it in the family. So that's what bloodline means, to keep it in the family. And so Charles, being the eldest son, um, he became the king. Before, it used to be the eldest male member of the family. Um, but in this case, it's the eldest son now became the king. So looking at that, we look at succession is a process of determining who will actually become the next monarch. In this case, because he was the son, and that could come about if the monarch dies or abdicates. So in this case, Queen Elizabeth died. So this line of succession was Charles. Um, Before, however, the king in England was uh, Simpson, Edward, um, and King Edward. He actually abdicated. Now, when he abdicated, that means that he gave up the throne. He was succeeded by um, King George the Fifth or Sixth, I forget now. So there was a change, and the reason why he had to abdicate is because at the time you couldn't marry a divorced woman, which is exactly what he did. He fell in love with an American woman, and he abdicated because he wanted to be married to this woman regardless of the monarchy. Because it was actually the monarchy as an institution which did not allow him to marry a divorced woman. Now, Charles has become king and he married a divorced woman. So that shows that the times have changed. So yeah, so that's really how that happens. And just moving on from that, the reign is the period of time which a monarch um, is actually, in this case, the constitutional head. So Queen Elizabeth reigned for more than 70 years, so the longest serving monarch in history. And the queen or the king in this case now, they normally live in a palace. So the palace that everyone knows is Buckingham Palace, but the official residence really is Windsor. But they have different ones, such as Balmoral in Scotland. Now, coming back to the ceremony itself, this is all the regalia. So the ceremonial objects and symbols used during the coronation process are the crown, the scepter, and the robes. So the king is crowned. He's holding a scepter, which is like a fancy a fancy pole with lots of jewels and things. And he has to wear a red robe to signify that actually uh, the monarch. So being crowned as the monarch. And that's really how the quite a long process for just protocol, really. Thanks.